Hello, hello, hello. Here we are. Here I am. I'm Shesh Shesh, I know the way. I'm the Oscar Oracle. We're out here on the spiritual ranch. This is Mitzi. She's the she's biting my finger. Give Mitzi a treat, right? But not my finger. Say, hey Mitzi, don't eat my finger. Don't eat his finger, man. Anyways, howdy, howdy, howdy. How's everybody doing today? I want to thank the collective for the growth that I've been seeing in my channel. That's been very cool. I really appreciate that. It's not like it's, but it's awesome. It means a lot to me, and that's great, humble beginnings, man. And so I really appreciate that. That's it's inspiring to have others on the same path or in the same journey as I am, and to have such a full-hearted response, and I really like that. I've on YouTube, I put a lot of energy, a lot of effort behind comments that I've made too, and I've gotten little response, and oftentimes, and so I really appreciate the effort that is put into those long comments. When you take the time to actually energetically sit down and type something out, and to share yourself, to share of yourself like that, and to be a connective and open person, that does a lot for the collective on whole. So it's like we might be a small collective of individuals who are working together energetically, but when we find the ways that charge each other up in that small collective, that charges up the massive of collective, and that's awesome. Good work, We really appreciate that. The energetic shift that I've been experiencing right now has been very strong, and that's cool. And I think that it's been very positive for members of the Divine Collective right now to get back into balance, and get things kind of straightened up, like God's pulling the troops together, And so the calling has been called, and those who've heard, they answered in their heart, and they see that, and they're starting to see how they are set aside from everybody else, the rest of the world, the same way that the more dedicated chosen ones have been standing. There's the individuals now who we've all been kind of waiting on a little bit, that they see that, they're starting to see that light. They're starting to see that even though it's a challenging journey that Father God invites us on when we were chosen on that path, that it's the one that comes with the rewards, And so it's like, it's just what it is, It's like, if you want to catch big fish, you got to have thick line, Because that's just what it is, and that's what they're trying to figure out right now. And we've been showing them that way by staying steadfast in our truths, and by being willing to remind ourselves what it was for us when we were in our toilet token energy or whatever, and we didn't quite have the strength or the confidence, or even like the moral support from others, to push forward, and it's hard, it's difficult for us to forge a new path alone. And so we've made mistakes too, and so it's like right now we've had the strength to kind of bring our own awareness in enough to look through the eyes of another, and then to guide them directly on their path, and as passively as possible, because if it was to be done with force, it never would have worked, And so that's what we're learning here, folks. That's what we've been trying to do. And so I appreciate you for everything you do, for the work that you're doing, and for the beauty that you are, and for the divine individual that you are. That resonates deeply with me, And so I hope that we can continue to put out messages here at this table that will resonate deeply with the collective, and keep us all feeling at a higher vibration, Thank you. Yeah. Humbles me to a degree that I've never been humbled before, but I appreciate that. You humble me with love and appreciation, versus my humbling myself with stupidity, and that's awesome. I understand that all methods work. But like, this is a new experience for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Father God. You know, thank you for forging me in which you have made me a powerful weapon that you put up against the evil ones and destroy those evil ones who try to destroy all the good things that you created, all the goodness that you are. You know. So help us, help each other. You know, Father God, I love you so much. I really do. I really love you so much. You're my light, my salvation. You know. Please protect this collective as we read here, and the messages was sounded by steadfast. Thank you, Lord. I love you. We love God. We love Father God. You know, it's the only requirement in my space here in my channel. You know, it's the only requirement. I can accept almost all other things, but you gotta love Father God. You know, otherwise you can check yourself at the door. You know, you're not welcome here. That's just what it is. You know, gotta say it. All right. Well then. What's up, Sri? What's up on the backwards out here right now? What's that mean? There's a couple hundred workers out there. What's that mean, Sri? You got me something. You take all the boards there and backwards is wrong. We take spirit to spirit here, you know, right, folks? We can't do it with spirit without spirit, you know. There are liaisons. Very interesting spread right there. That's the four corners of the world, you know, that's what I would say. That's four corners of God's creation. Over here, leaning towards the mushroom, we have the, got the bolts, nuts and bolts things, right? And that's the shit that holds everything together. That's the thing that is easily looked over, but without it, everything would fall apart, right? And that's us. That's you, chosen one. And that's why it's coming out over there in the forest energy with the mushroom, but it's not hiding underneath the mushroom. It's just right on the edge of that mushroom. That means that it's that energy right there is telling me that Father God Most High knows damn and good and well what glue holds their shit together, you know. And so, you know, the creation itself is absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful, you know. As long as you can't see the seams where the glue is, you know, it's like you want to kind of like when you're creating something beautiful, and you have to combine pieces together in order to create that thing that you're creating that's so beautiful. You're required to use glue. You got to have glue, you know. But if you're sloppy with your glue, that shows that you have poor craftsmanship, you know. But without glue and without good glue, there would be no creation whatsoever. There would be no craftsmanship, you know. And so Spirit God's saying right here, with these nuts and bolts being out here by the mushroom, you know, that's God saying that, hey, just because the whole world don't see you, that doesn't mean that without you, the whole world wouldn't exist. You know, that's what that's saying right there, totally. And so you're coming out nuts and bolts, you know. That's good energy to be in. That means that you're a bad motherfucker and you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, you know. That means that when God calls you, you know what the fuck it is. Like, you hold it together, you know. Like, you don't fall apart. You're not the motherfucker that's just gonna let things just slide. You're gonna get tighter and tighter and tighter on that shit, and you're gonna make sure to hold it together. That's what nuts and bolts do, you know. And so in the light right now, we have this Pentacle coin coming out again today. This is the 5-5. It says on there, so that might mean something to you. There's two more fives on the back, so that's 5-5, 5-5. And this is that one again. It's that emergency whatever fund. I can't read it; it's too worn out. But it's telling you right now, mainly like this coin right here doesn't matter about what's said on it; it's about what's printed through it, and that's that pinnacle right there. You see, and so that's Earth energy. the earth angels right now, and their humility and accepting their path as nuts and bolts for the Father God Most High, right, is leading us into a position where we're now going to come out into the light and we're going to speak our truths, see? It's like our truths are going to be seen through our ability to maintain our integrity and to hold it together, even when we're just getting fucking hammered, man. Like every fucking thing and his brothers coming at us just trying to burn us down or fucking drown us out or fucking break us apart with their fucking wind, with their thoughts and everything, you know. But we're Earth and they can't fuck us up, you know. We host all of that shit. And so it's on our shoulders right now to properly manage all the other elements, you know, and to calm the storm that's on Earth today and to bring into the light the truthful integrity, the most practical skills that we have that are going to ensure God's kingdom being maintained and being safe, you know, being protected on all four corners of the globe, man. Over here, we have the karmic energy and with the air sides showing up here, and so that's telling me that the karmic energies here are being sat down on their asses a little bit and they're having to think, you know. And so also what this is telling me, because the karmic energy is coming out over here close to me, and so that's telling me that there's going to be a little bit of some swapping, you know. There's going to be a little bit of, it's going to be a return to sender moment that's going to put them in a position where they're going to be judged now, and they're not going to be in the limelight. They're kind of like on the shadow of the moon over here, the dark side of the earth, you know. And then so they're going to have to go fucking be in hermitage now and possibly think about the wrongs that they've done, the atrocities that they've done, you know. And I call this the karmic energy because there's the eagle right there. That's why they're in their head. They're thinking about shit. That's air. But on the other side of this coin is this individual right here. This is a 1968 half dollar. This coin right here, it looks identical to the silver coins that were produced before the year 1964. And but this coin's not silver. This coin is a falsity. It's a lie. So this is all the lies that the dominating rulers of our world today, like the statesmen, the courts, the military, the kings, the queens, and all these jackasses, right, that are running this world with their perverse ways of thinking, they're starting to be exposed in that, and they're going to have to take a little bit of a back seat in that moment when they stop paying attention so hard on attacking the chosen ones because they got their asses out there in the light and people are starting to really dissect what it is that they are. We're going to be shown as the nuts and bolts that keeps and holds God's creation together as one love, as true peace, you know? And that's an amazing thing, you know? Good work. Chose ones, you know? And over here by the moon, we have the courtesy parking coin, which that energy, I think that energy represents the negative thinking that have been haunting the thought space and the heart space of God's chosen ones because of the poison and the toxicity that these karmic energies over here have been throwing at them and then hiding their hands in that shadow, you know, because they've been in the shadow of the moon over here causing damage to the chosen ones who are now being called out into the light because they're being seen as them nuts and bolts that hold the fabric of time together, right? And so what's being courtesy parked over here by the moon is our insecurity because of what we've been told, because of the lies they've been telling us and telling on us, you know. And so we're no longer going to be living in an energy or operating from a space where we cannot speak our minds, you know. We're like, no, excuse me, we're the chosen ones, we're the humble chosen ones, the servants of God over here, and we're not trying to show off, but we've been forced into the fucking light. And we'll never forget the lies that you've told us, the way that you tried to manipulate us, and the way that you've tried to keep us down and keep your fucking foot on our neck. You know, we're gonna keep that in the back of our mind. We're always gonna listen to our intuition, but we're gonna courtesy park the actions that we've taken in the past that were influenced by our intuition when we were being toxicified by the horrible shit that these karmic energies were trying to do over here by their attacks on God, you know? And so that's had a strong effect on us, and we're not going to allow that to happen anymore. We want to have a new world come in where intuitively we know right from wrong, right? That's what we're supposed to do. That's why we're the most beautiful divine creation and the eyes of God Most High, is because we can use our intuition, you know? And so intuitively, you need to know right from wrong, according to energetically how even the baited attempts of trying to appease you or like welcome you in, and or the straight out fucking full frontal assaults that these karmic energies are always trying to fucking manipulate you with, you know? And we need that shit to stay in the shadow because it doesn't belong in the light. And Father God makes that very fucking clear, you know? And so that's what we're here for. And that's what we're doing. And that's why this little coin right here, it's not coming out showy. It's not coming out as some big like silver high priestess or coin, or like some coin that's like, oh man, no, we're putting on our work boots. We're putting on our gloves, you know, and we're getting out there in the field, and we're gonna build that garden the way that God gave us the example of how to build the garden in the first place, but we went against it, you know. And so now it's time for us to repair a lot of damage from our past, and then to move forward with the proper infrastructure in place, you know, and then that's going to really give us the ability to shine, you know. We're going to have the proper infrastructure in place. So we're building fence out here on the forest, right? We're getting our irrigation established. We're getting bunk spaces, sleeping spaces available for the people that are going to come when the change happens, which is near, you know. And so that's good. That's awesome. That's excellent, you know. So who cares if you got raggedy ass fucking clothes, and it may look like you're fucking likely going to be walking, or like everybody thinks you are too broke dick to fucking know jack shit. You know everything about being broke dick, and that makes you very, very, very fucking intelligent, actually, you know. The world's having a hard time accepting that, and seeing that as a reality, because their embarrassment holds them back. But that's what we're courtesy parking over here by the fucking moon, because we know in our intuition it doesn't fucking matter what we have. It matters what we are, and it matters what we do with it, most importantly. And that's how we impress God Most High, you know. And so that's good energy. That's good read. Good energy. Thank you, Father God. Thank you, Spirit, you know. The boot's still out there. It maintained out there outside my bag, hanging out underneath that mushroom. And that's just to remind everybody that even though us chosen ones right now are playing nice, and we're trying to be the nuts and bolts and all that shit that holds it all together, we ain't fucking above whooping, kicking nobody's ass, you know? And that's just what it is. It's like, you get them boots on, you need to walk the fucking line, man, or somebody's gonna be right behind you fucking kicking your ass, right? Grandma's gonna kick you in the ass. Like I said in that last read I did, you know, she's gonna kick you in the ass so much fucking hard that she's gonna have to hop her ass down to the doctor's just to get that boot removed. Maybe that is grandma's boot still stuck up your ass because you weren't fucking behaving properly at one point or another as a chosen one. But now you're coming into the light, and so you're starting to realize that shit, you know? And so maybe it's high time that boot gets removed, you know? And that's good, you know? That's why our ancestors kick our asses like that, because they want us to walk the line, you know? They don't want us to be ignorant like this karmic energy out here, like this fake silver coin right here with this individual who wasn't what he said he was, and that cost him greatly, you know? And that's why you gotta watch out when you dabble with that karmic energy. That was a high vibrational individual, creation of God, and he got brought down to a very low vibrational fucking level, and there's still a lot of low vibrational energy that surrounds that individual, and that's why they come out as the karmic energy, you know, because that's after their takedown right there, that coin. It doesn't celebrate their life, it celebrates their death, and it celebrates the falsehood of their death, you know. They didn't die like a king, they died like them thieves sitting next to Jesus Christ out there on that cross, you know. Father God's bringing in some change right here, fast. That's what that is right there, you know. And so, and that energy, honestly, that's coming off on that fucking currency parking coin right there, because right now what's happening is that the energies that we're leaving their currency park are the same energies that have kept us currency park in the past. People couldn't see past those energies enough to see us for who and what we were, and the same light that God sees us as the chosen ones. And so we were kind of not listened to. We were not heard, you know. A lot of the world they were like, they still know that we're the nuts and bolts that hold that fabric of time together, but they got a wristwatch on their fucking wrist, you know? And so they don't care what fucking time you tell them it is. They're going to go with what that little fucking fake device says on their fucking arm. They don't want to listen to you. They've courtesy parked your wisdom because they always just seen you as this beat up aluminum coin over here. And so it's like, well, that broke dick motherfucker can't be worth jack shit, you know? And so it's like, why would I bend over even to pick them up? But right now, when God puts you in that light that they're going to put you in, you're going to shine so fucking brightly that these motherfuckers over here, you know, when God puts you in that light so quickly, you're going to shine so bright that you're going to come out of that courtesy parking energy. You're already coming out of that courtesy parking energy, and it's happening fast, you know? But just remember, with that Knight of Swords, yeah, because the tower's going to fall in the reverse. But remember, with that Knight of Swords right here and that courtesy park energy, that spirit God is saying, don't get ahead of yourself too, you know? Sometimes we courtesy park shit or whatever too long, you know, we can forget about it, right, too. And so Spirit's saying, like, keep that intuition cracking, you know? Like, don't feel that you see all the things that have held you back, you know? And so, like, you're too quickly to even, to forget, right? That's what that energy is trying to say. And so it's okay to courtesy park those low frequency energies that you've been experiencing and to intuitively check them, right? And to keep them in their place. But make sure that in your haste, that you don't cut out some things that could be useful for you in the future as well, is what that's trying to say, you know? And so always listen to your intuition. Always make sure that whatever it is that you're picking up intuitively, that it makes sense intellectually as well with that Knight of Swords. And that's good advice, you know? That's why we love Spirit. That's solid ass advice. Listen to yourself, you know? Always listen to your intuition. Always listen to that fifth element. Your intuition's that fifth element. That's why you're a high priestess, you know? With these nuts and bolts right here, the work that you've done, the abilities that you've shown on your own, standing in your own fucking light, even a little bit hid away from the world with nobody else watching. You just did it for you and God. And that right there is bringing in your wish fulfillment. You know, you're going to experience some wish fulfillment right now in that forest that you're in, you know, in that garden space that you're creating, in that space where you dwell alone with Spirit God in your emotions, you know. And so in your meditations, in your ways that you request that God helps you to heal, you know. And so as God has had you set aside doing that work and that nuts and bolts energy, you manifested healing, you know, you manifested well-being. And by being that, you've now got dominance and control over your emotional space, and you prepared yourself for that 10 of cups to come in, you know, and provide you wish fulfillment. And so good work, chosen one, and good work, you know, and that's all about you. And so always remember that. That's something that intuitively don't rush away from that. Maybe that's something that you want to courtesy park in your intuition and let it stay there. Courtesy park, you know, because that's a positive thing to have in your intuition, to always know that now you can trust yourself, that you did that healing for yourself, and you brought in those 10 cups, you know. You brought in those 9 cups and healed them, which made you available for them 10 cups over here in this pinnacle energy by the sun, you know. That's when you hit that high spot. But you're humble. And that's what's most beautiful about you. Earth and fire. That's earth and fire. Coming out right there by that, because that's what the fire is, you know, and that coin right there is a pinnacle coin, so it represents earth, you know, and so you're earth and fire, you know, and you're learning how to follow God. So in the time that God has asked you to work on your own space, in your own garden, internally, and not rush that process, so when God courtesy parked you in your intuition and asked you to not rush that process, you did find a deep well of healing, you know. And that's giving you more mastery over your emotional space and more understanding of yourself emotionally. And that's going to be really complementary to your earth and fire energy, because you have a lot of earth and fire in your chart. And That's evident. What else do we know about that earth and fire energy over here? What else do we want to know about that? You're no longer left out in the cold, see? And this is because, like, everything that you think and everything that you do is so fucking alternative to everything that they do, you know? And it's like you've had to be the nuts and bolts of that fabric to keep that whole held together, because a lot of times you've been almost nearly on your own, you know, and you've had one other individual here with you, you know, and like you've been really beat up, you know, and so this energy right here in the upright position would be the energy that is an energy that they're asking you to courtesy park and not allow to penetrate your intuitive space, you know, because you know damn good well that you're not left out in the cold. So I'd be left in the cold. You know that damn good well that you walk away from the church here in order to reestablish a new way of seeing things, a new way of doing business, you know. You seen that the fabric that they had was frayed on the edges because there was no truth. And so you decide to walk away from this, you know. You're courtesy parking them frayed edges because you seen that the world around you, the only thing that it does provide for you is threadbare, and it's not going to last very long, you know. It doesn't have any kind of sense of longevity. It's a temporary fucking, I'm going to get my rocks off, I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to move along. And that's the church that everybody worships in these days, the church of self, you know. But you want to walk with the chosen ones that you're out here with, who everybody's been whooping ass on, because you can see the beauty of God inside of them, even though the world says they're broke dick and they ain't fucking welcome where they're at, you know. But who wants to be welcome in a church that only fucking is filled with selfish motherfuckers who see themselves as God, and they don't see anything else around them whatsoever at all, you know. And so God's telling you that, yeah, you made the right choice, you know, because you're no longer locked behind those fucking doors where the living dead are, because that's where the living dead abide, and you're now with a living God in a living world, in a living space, and you represent everything that is alive, you know, because you're a divine chosen one. And you may feel left out in this world. You may feel like this world don't give a fuck about you. You may feel like they don't hear a goddamn word that you're saying. But I'm going to tell you right now that you don't need them to listen to you anyways, because you're earth and fire, man. And you're the shit that makes this whole world go round. Definitely. Primordial. You know, you're a primordial being, you're a primordial spirit, you're a primordial soul that God has been working with your energy since the beginning of creation, you know, because first there was earth and fire, right? And then everything else came from there, man. And everything else is influenced by that, man. You're a primordial being, you know. God's asking you to extend an offering of love, you know, to I think honestly, you know, like God's offering to extend an offering of love, but they're asking you to also receive an apology from these karmic energies. And that's not like an apology that you're going to receive in a way that, you know, let's just be honest with ourselves. The karmic energies don't take accountability. They really don't. But I think that they're feeling, well, you know, karmic energies are fucked, you know. It's like they're feeling apologetic, but they're more concerned about you forgiving them than they are really about being sorry. You know, that's the problem with karmic energies. You know, it's like they are feeling right now that the games that they've been playing and the way that they've been treating God's creation and treating everything around them is the reason why, as we're able to check our baggage intuitively and know right from wrong and walk freely without worry in our hearts any longer because of the things that are holding us back, they're now trapped in their own shadow, you know? And so they're apologizing because it makes them feel sorry, but you don't really care. We don't really care. We really don't. And that's part of the energies that we've courtesy parked, you know, because right now we're running into battle. We're rushing into battle. And we're severing our ties with those things that have held us back. You know, we're not fucking around here. we're not even going to really wait around to really figure out too much of the truth. We're just going to go with our gut, with our intuition, and we're going to know what makes sense. And we're going to run with that, and we're going to make shit happen, because this whole world's been influenced by lies. Everybody's lying, you know? And everybody just kind of like lies just to lie, man. And they don't realize how that, you know, it's like not even that they don't realize, it's just what everybody does, you know? It's like one of them things. Like it's like the language of the consumer wasteland is lies, you know? Like everybody's insecure, you know? And so it's like the insecurities, and that's what this ace or this Knight of Swords also could represent, is just that insecure reactions. And so we're being asked not to feel sorry for the karmic energies who've been fucking shit off so fucking bad, you know? We're not being asked to feel sorry for them, but like send them well wishes, because like I guess, you know, it's like I was talking about, like we transit, like where they're going right now, we've been there, you know, and so they're not even gonna listen to us, you know. But this Knight of Cups right here can bring us a lot of healing, you know, and like forgiveness in our own, or like not forgiveness, but like just healing in our own hearts enough to not be angry at the karmic energies that are now going to be sat on their asses, and let them do their time, you know, kind of. But like, don't be resentful about that. Like this Knight of Cups is like, so it's like sometimes, you know, it's like it's love with a strong hand, it's love with a firm hand, you know. And so it's like they need to sit down and think about their fucking shit, because these energies have been really creating a lot of havoc for a lot of real high chosen ones right now. They've been creating a lot of havoc for a lot of divine connections, you know, and like they're trying to commandeer like divine connections and everything, because that's such a powerful energy that they could use that to create a lot of nonsense here on the world, on Earth, you know. And that whole plan has backfired on them, you know, it really has. They tried to bring it in too quick, and so now they got to slow their roll. But we don't need to feel sorry for them to slow their roll. They need to slow their roll and kind of shut the fuck up. Just honestly, you know, and we can say that lovingly, because it is loving to tell an individual when they should know their place, you know, because sometimes when we speak out of hand, we could get ourselves pretty embarrassed in what it is that we're trying to say, you know, and that's what they're going to learn right now. See, they got to understand that they're offering that this offer of apology, right? They're offering this offer of apology, but it's fucking cheapened, you know, and they cheapened it themselves. And so it's like, we might fare better if we courtesy park our anger here in our intuition, and just be like, okay, it's not that it's not cute, you know, but it's like when a dog does something really bad and then they like try to roll over and be cute to get away with it, you know. These people ain't really, there's individuals, not people, individuals, or not individuals, but energies. These energies right here, they know they've been caught. They don't like it, and so they're trying to act coy about that. So it's like God's asking you not to trust this Knight of Cups. Don't trust this Knight of Cups at face value, kind of, but see it for what it is, you know. And it's like a showing of their weakness. And so like what God is asking us to do is to not take that as like, oh, now we have access to their underbelly, so fucking gut them out, you know. Like God says, let me judge, leave judgment up to me, and let them act the fool. But just be aware and like know that in their foolish behavior, eventually they're going to learn the right lessons that they need to learn, you know. And so it's like, yeah, they look like a fool, but they haven't admitted that yet. Basically, is what that Knight of Cups is saying, you know. But I think with this action card, that we're possibly going in that direction of where they're going to see the foolishness in their actions, you know. And so that's good. We got to keep hoping on that. But what Spirit God's telling us over here at this courtesy parking coin is that the blessings that are coming in for us so quickly and so abundantly are only going to come in when we are able to courtesy park the past lies that we've been told. So the things that have been like had us in our head trying to figure out these karmic energies around us, trying to sort out the right from wrong, because there's been so many lies told, you know. I mean, the Knight of Cups could be a liar, right? They get over emotional about shit or whatever. And so like those lies have had us more in our intuition than in the light, and that's what's changing right now with this five of fucking pentacles and this pentacle coin right here, because we're no longer left out in the cold. We're building a brand new church, and that church is gonna be it's gonna have doors. I mean, it's like this church doesn't even really have doors. It doesn't look like doors. Who knows what the fuck that is? It's just some fucking like lights coming out of some window or whatever. It looks very exclusive. Like it doesn't look like it's including anybody, healed or not, you know. And so what we're trying to change right now is that in itself, because there are so many people today that are trapped outside of our society, outside of our culture, that they feel that they have no value any longer, you know. And what our culture is trying to do is go in a direction where those people are going to become, it's going to become illegal for us to not have money, you know. Like that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to round up the homeless people and like send them wherever. But that's these people, man. And so it's like the institution has become so fuck, you know, and so difficult and so hard, and it preys upon the weak. It doesn't hold them up. It doesn't do good tidings. It doesn't fucking take care of anything but itself. This is that selfish individuals worshiping themselves as God behind these windows right here, and they don't like the ones that God has chosen who can walk humbly, you know, and doesn't need all that self you know, exoneration or whatever, right? They don't need them. They don't need all that accolades and stuff. You know, these are poor people that just need God, right? And they don't like seeing people that are like that, because you can't control people like that in God's kingdom, you know. And they want control over everything in God's kingdom. And so, what Spirit is doing with us right now is healing those wounds that we've had from being left out, and allowing us now to stand in the light as our humbled asses, right? As exactly what we are, they're chosen ones, and build something that's going to be, it's going to be magnificent because of its humility, because of its approach, because it's going to be like that thief in the dark. It's going to come in when nobody expects it. It's going to be there, and then it's just not going to be able to be removed. You know, it's going to be one of them things that enough good people are going to build on this thing that we're going to have a separate place to go once we all have realized how we have been denied by this church right here, you know. Like that's the thing, you know. This institution doesn't want us. Well, we need a fucking place to go, you know. We're not just going to sit around as God's chosen ones and get the shit kicked out of us constantly, or get rounded up and like sent off to fucking crocodile fucking whatever, alligator Alcatraz, you know, or whatever fucked off fucking FEMA camp like that they got. My grandpa told me they're building these FEMA camps for homeless people. He told me that 18 years ago. Longer than that, actually. Almost, oh my God, almost 30 years ago. That's crazy. Nah, yeah, almost 30 years ago. That's crazy. 28 years ago, he was telling me this, you know. He was a Branch Davidian down there in Texas, you know, down West Texas. And he was a part of that church there, you know, and they were looking at all these documents and stuff. They would buy top secret documents and everything, you know, from the government at that time. That was like pre-internet, you know. And so he had all this stuff. He came up, he disowned the whole family. The last thing he told the whole family exactly what was going to happen. You know, he talked about the wall that they were going to build between New Mexico and the U.S., and that they're going to come after the immigrants. And then he said after the immigrant thing, when they were able to get away with that, he said then they're going to start coming after what they considered the undesirables, like the homeless people and stuff, you know, sick people, homeless people, and addicts, you know, and they're going to round them up and they're going to send them off concentration camps. Yeah, see, and so what Spirit's telling you over here with this courtesy parking coin, like I said, 6-1 is don't get ahead of yourself, you know. And so we're celebrating a good victory right now. We've been feeling like things are starting to really move in our direction. Like we're getting a lot of forward movement here with this Nine of fucking Swords coming in. The things that we've been speaking as truth are starting to be seen as truth. But don't get ahead of yourself, because these individuals over here, like I said, with this Knight of Cups, these karmic energies, they're sorry but not sorry. And so you really can't trust those karmic energies all the way. They're still going to be attacking you, and they're going to still be attacking what you love, you know. They're still going to be having you and your companion, your partner, your divine chosen one that you walk with, are going to be in rags too, just a little bit right now. We're coming out of this energy, but like they're saying, Is that don't get ahead of yourself, you know. This apology that you're receiving, or this apologetic energy that we're feeling or sensing off of the karmic energy over here, is they're in the shadow, just kind of licking their own wounds in a lot of ways, you know. And so it's like, yeah, they feel sorry, so they might be vulnerable. But problem is with karmic energies, when they're vulnerable, they hide because they don't want to be accountable, you know. And vulnerability should lead to accountability. Yeah. See, that's why God has you over here as the nuts and bolts in this Nine of Cups energy with the Ace of Cups. This is a brand new beginning in love for you, you know, and this is your reward, and this is your wish fulfillment coming out with this Nine of Cups. And it says the path leading towards love for others begins where we found love for self, you know. And so God's taught you how to love yourself, and now you're that whole ass 10 of cups right there. Like I said, it's coming in here. You know, that's wish fulfillment. That's God rewarding you for being so fucking awesome. Yeah, fucking good work. You feel good. That feels good right there. You know, like good energy right there, man. That's good energy. That's 10 cups right there. That means that God sees that you have shown them, even after being courtesy parks or whatever and stuff, it up in your fucking head and kind of being dicked around by a lot of karmic energies, you know. You showed to God that you're going to protect your cups, you know, because this motherfucker right here, they protect them 9 cups, you know. So it's even if one cup went away from them, which you may have experienced, that big cup of yours went away, you didn't fall down and just let all your other cups get tipped over. You didn't just like fall down and let whoever come along and fucking drink out of your cup, swill out of your fucking cup till they're fucking empty. You're like, nah, man, I'm going to protect these cups because these are me and God's cups, you know. And like these are the cups that matter most because these are the cups that God has given me to make myself powerful and strong, you know. And so that when my Ace of Cups returns, you know, or my Ace of Cups shows up, that Ace of Cups I've been fucking looking at for that love in another, I'm full in myself, you know, my cups are full, and we can combine what it is that we have because they got their 9 cups already covered that way, that same way, and I could be their Ace of Cups as they're mine, and we can then create wholeness because we have wholeness in ourselves. The path leading towards love for others begins where we found love for ourselves. And so you now know how to learn how to love yourself. And love is ultimately the glue that binds God's creation, you know. That's the nuts and bolts that hold everything together is our love, and it begins where we found love for ourselves. So a very good job, you know. And like you can see here, I don't have a nut on this one, it's just a bolt, you know. And so that means that you're waiting, you know, but you know you found the nut that has the matching threads, that's the right size, and that's all of that. And that lies in this Ace of Cups right here, you know. And so you know with this Ace of Hearts right here, with this Ace of Cups, that it's coming in. And so you're going to have the feminine for your masculine because the nuts and bolts, you know, like the nuts of the feminine, the bolts of the masculine. And so you're trying to find that connection, that powerful connection that you could birth something with, you know, that you could create something with in that 10 of Cups energy, because the 10 of Cups energy is like everything, you know. It's everything. It's the whole menagerie, man. It's like you're fucking loving it, you know. It's families, it's babies, it's being grandpa and grandma. It's like the whole fucking 9 yards, man. And so you're there now. It's coming in there, you know. And so prepare yourself for that. That's good work, chosen one. We love you. They love you. Whoever it is that you're thinking about that you've been separated from, they love you, you know, and they know that you love them, and they have felt that way about you the entire time. Even though there's been a lot of fuck shittery going on around here, and there's been a lot of fucking immaturity, and there's maybe been a lot of things that were said that were not true, you know? Maybe things that were said that were trying to influence you to see your individual, to see this energy that you want to come in here in this Ace of Cups in a light that's other than divine. But those tactics didn't work, you know? And that's why these ones over here with this karmic energy are trying to play fake, you know? And so they're like, oh, everybody's one love, right? And it's like, yeah, everybody's one love, but you motherfuckers, you're assholes, you know? Yeah, yeah. You see, because we were courtesy parked over there a little bit, but what's going on here is we were wise and we listened to God, we let God do their work through us. And so now, when everybody was throwing these swords at us, trying to take us down and trying to cut us out of our limelight, it's not going to have the effect that they were hoping for, because it says, I'll just resurrect. So we just pulled that Jesus trick on their asses. They don't know. They thought we were in the grave, but for whatever reason, right now we're walking amongst the living and we're standing in the light as God's true love, right? And so they really fucked up right there. They thought when they killed us, these karmic energies over here, they thought, well, we take them down like that shit in a way that we shove every fucking sword in their asses and they can't fucking move, and they're totally intellectually destroyed, so they don't even see themselves in any kind of a positive light, so that their intuition is totally fucked off. And they do get ahead of themselves and do something drastic that allows us to kill them or to take them down like that. Energetically speaking, we just resurrected. That's what just happened. That's that energy shift. It's like we stepped down off from that that pyre that they, or whatever, that they wanted to burn us on. And we removed those swords from our own backs. And now, new things are coming in for us that are going to be total fulfillment. We saved ourselves, we listened to God and we saved ourselves. And so now we've shown the whole world, even as this little started from nothing, but now I'm at the top energy right here, And they don't like that, because that makes them all question their own wealth. It's like they're sitting in this church right here with no doors, worshiping themselves as their own gods. Like they're sitting there staring in the mirror, like worshiping themselves as their own God, worshiping their wealth as their own God, because they don't have a living God that you represent, that is now in your heart, and in your space. And so they don't know how to behave properly. They're feeling sorry for themselves. Karmic energy, man. And of course they would. Of course, they would try to take you fucking down, slam every fucking sword they got in your back, make you feel like you're left out in the cold and unwanted, try to tell you don't get ahead of yourself. What the fuck do you know over here? Try to tell you to hold yourself back and shit, right? Because they're trying to tell you you're stupid, you're not as good as they are. But then they feel sorry for themselves. See, people, this energy right here, this energy is energy that we all carry. There's been one point or another in our lives where we've been that shit stand that restroom token leaves in the bathroom after they make a big mess. And so it's like, this is that energy that we can't let, we can't be lying to ourselves. So it's like, we can't forgive ourselves for wrongdoings. So it's like, we maybe can, I think like the best way that we can show our wisdom is by recognizing that apologies are for the individual who's asking for the apology. So if you're saying I'm sorry when somebody says, okay, I accept your apology, well, that makes the perpetrator feel better. That makes the individual who was feeling sorry feel better. They feel accepted, And so these energies that we're dealing with right now, our own karmic energies, we can't do that right now. We can't because it's like it's in our own space. And so it's like we can't do bad by ourselves in the way that we're behaving, because we're behaving karmically. And then just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, shush, no way, hey, I didn't mean it. And then I'm like, oh, that's okay, shush, no way, hey. Well, that means that I'm going to fucking perpetrate that shit again, man. I mean, that's just what it is, And so God's telling you, don't get caught up in that stuff. We've resurrected. We pulled those swords out of our asses. A lot of these swords we put in our own asses. And so now that we've removed those swords, lick your wounds, that's okay. But remember where they came from. Those are self-inflicted, a lot of them, And so don't just sit and tell yourself I'm sorry and then repeat that offense. Move past what it was that made you so weak that you allowed those assaults to happen to you, And then resurrect, child. Heal, because you're a fucking healer, right? Got these nice up too. Yeah. And see, this is the energy that God has that God has had that the world has had us, the chosen ones, in for some time right now. But it says, God says, feel me with that 4 cups energy. And that's what God's saying to the karmics right now, because karmic energy is the one who is now sitting underneath that tree, pining over their losses, and maybe they're now having to take that big step, which we all had to take, which was to let go of that ego, to let go of that identity, to let go of those relationships, to let go of whatever it is that's in those 3 cups that haven't brought you fulfillment, and then give it up to God Most High, have faith in God Most High, and then look to your right and receive what it is that they're trying to give to you, because they're trying to give you wisdom and strength, and honor and everything. They're trying to give you all the tools that you need to step out of this karmic energy right here and actually not forgive yourself, but heal them wounds. It's like you can't put a band-aid on this shit. If you've been being out here being really karmic and kind of causing a lot of fucking grief and like secretly making shit really difficult for other people who are divine chosen ones who should be together, it's like you may have got away with that deceit, but it's weighing heavy on the heart of that individual, of you, karmic one. I'm talking directly to you now, karmic one. If you're watching this shit, you know in your heart, no matter how good you look on paper, no matter how good you fucking talk, no matter how fucking sneaky, slippery, sly you are, the things that you've been pulling right now, God's screaming to you in your heart saying, no, fucking, you can't just forgive yourself for that fucking shit. You gotta fucking live with it, and you gotta make it fucking better. And because that's just what it is, You've been carrying around that shitty baggage too fucking long. And so God's saying, feel me? But if you're over there pining over the things that you've had in those 3 cups that haven't been bringing you fulfillment, you got to realize why they haven't been bringing you fulfillment. It's like you've been filling your cup with fucking shit on your own, and so you're gonna have to fucking wash them motherfuckers pretty good before they're gonna be fulfilling. But God's trying to offer you a clean cup that you can start all over again. Don't fucking get too hung up on all the shit that you were putting in those 3 cups in front of you, and take that fucking clean cup that God's offering you and then fucking fill it full of shit too. Then you're going to be fucking doomed, karmic energy. Don't do that. And that's good, solid advice. It might be free advice, but it's solid advice. And like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've been on these streets for a long fucking time. I've been in these fucking battlefields. I've been in these energies. I've been doing this shit since the beginning of time. And Father God has made it fucking motherfucking clear to me what the hell's going on, because I've done my work, and I can say that honorably, man. I can courtesy park myself out here in the motherfucking forest and receive my 10 cups that's coming in, because I protected my 9 cups, just like you, chosen one. Good work. Feels good, doesn't it? You got the Queen of Wands over here in the reverse with the burdock root, Queen of Clubs, And so again, that's confirmation on the don't get ahead of yourself. The Knight of Swords over here in the Courtesy Park, Always remember that you survived these attacks, but that Queen of Wands has always got wands, She's always got something that she's going to be throwing at you that's going to cause you to maybe doubt your intuition, That's what they're attacking constantly, because that's your most divine connection with God Most High. That's when you speak to God directly. And so be aware of them. Be aware of them Queens of Wands, man. They're no joke, and they want to take you down. They want to hurt you. They want to see you always courtesy parked in your own fucking head and not taking that forward motion that you could take that's going to give you celebration. They don't want to see you celebrate now. They want you to believe that, oh, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I shouldn't celebrate fucking all that bullshit. But no, you're winning right now. You can celebrate a little bit, Don't get ahead of yourself, but celebrate a little bit. And don't let that energy of that Queen of Wands fuck with you. Because those are the wands, they attack you in your intuition and your emotion, and your feelings and in your thoughts. That's why it's coming out over here by the moon. And so that shit right now, they attack you from the shadow, but you are the light, chosen one. And so remember that the moon is only reflecting the light off from the sun, off the chosen energy right now over here. And that's what casts the shadow over here that they're hiding in. So be aware of your shadow. That's what that's telling you right there. Be aware of that Queen of Wands that can harbor inside yourself. Keep that bitch courtesy parked You don't have to practice black magic, chosen one. You have God in your corner, you know, and so remember that. And don't fear their wands because they ain't gonna fucking jack you up. Not what's so fucking ever, you know. They've been trying to make things slippery for you with this aloe vera. They've been trying to make things taste like fucking shit, you know. They've been trying to make things. They've been trying to make it so that this ace of cups right here was gonna slide right out of your fucking hands, man. It's gonna slide right off the tip of your fucking nut, right? You have bolt right here, and you're not gonna have that divine masculine, divine feminine connection that you're seeking, that is required in order to keep the fabric of time and the fabric of God's creation held together. Because the feminine energy is your nut, and the masculine energy are the bolt here, you know. And so with aloe vera here, with the Two of Wands in the reverse. That Two of Wands in the reverse energy, that's back to sender, because I think that there's been temptation on the chosen ones to flee from what it is that is their calling and to look out into the world for fucking satisfaction and for gratification when and to kind of shy away from what is their calling that God has for them as their calling, and maybe slide out of that responsibility with the aloe vera there. But that's not what's going to happen here, you know. That was all the temptation of this Queen of Wands, fucking up your intuitive fucking knowing. And so you put your intuition on hold maybe for a little bit, thinking that you're going to find bigger and better out there in the world. And you realize, no, everything that I need is at home, you know. And that's why it's at home and it's been protected. And when I fucking am that final element that goes there in that final cup right there, that's when them 10 of cups come in. I'm going to have wish fulfillment and total gratification with my life. I don't need to plan life elsewhere. We don't need to plan life elsewhere when we have life already delivered to us the way that God wants us to work with it, you know? And so that's what that Two of Wands is saying right there, to look within and find your own love for self and don't look elsewhere for that. And that's when you have 10 full cups down and you're a bad motherfucker. You're bringing it in, you know. Good work, chosen one. Good work, chosen one. We've been saying that a lot here these last couple days. I celebrate that. I like that a lot. We have Six of Pentacles right here with the sunflower in the reverse, right? And that's telling me that... That's telling me that, yeah, with this ten of Swords right here, with this Five of Pentacles in the reverse with the Pentacle coin, that's telling me that there hasn't been a lot of balance, you know, that there's been a lot of attacks on you and on your garden on what it is that you're trying to grow and prosper, and they've been trying to destroy that, you know, and so they don't want to see the balance that you're going to bring into the world, because when you balance these things, that's going to bring full awareness to the world about these karmic energies and why they need to heal themselves, you know. And so the sunflower energy also is representing, because you're coming out here in the light as this humbled high one over here in earth energy. And sunflower in the reverse, see, they track the sun, you know. And so what the karmic energies have been doing by trying to courtesy park you and your intuition is to keep you out of that light, you know. And so they're trying to make it so the sunflower is in your field. They can't follow the sun like they should, you know, because their head should always follow the sun and always stay in the light, always see the light. That's how they do their thing. They need a lot of sun. That's how they grow good, you know. And so the sunflower in the reverse, they've been trying to blind the other chosen ones out here who need your high light, and to see you in this Ten of Cups energy over here as the nuts and bolts, the fabric of everything, with wish fulfillment. When the sunflowers then start to see that as God's other chosen ones, they can start then to track the sun again. And that's when you're going to be resurrected, because you're then in the light once again. And so they try to destroy you. They try to take every single leaf off of your sunflower plant, but it still is able to bloom, and it's still been able to bring in the balance and to bring in... it's been what it is that all the other chosen ones have now watched this sunflower, even after all the sunflowers had their leaves stripped off of them and everything by the monitoring spirits. As they fucking sun comes up and they watch that sun track, that's your resurrection as the high chosen one, because you've learned to love yourself, and that's how you found that path to love for others. But you're leading others down that path by shining in this light that God's asking you to shine in and to resurrect, to step off from that cross, And so even though they try to destroy you in every way possible, destroy your garden, you are still drawing attention from the other chosen ones right now in a way that's going to keep them growing, prospering, and becoming stronger. That's how you're going to balance things out, because there hasn't been balance in the energies collectively lately for a while, And so, but that's changing with your resurrection, chosen one. Again, good work, man. Hey, we're celebrating today, And that's cool. We like that. We really love that energy. We do. And that energy right here with the fir and the balsam, right? The fir tree, is coming out with the 9 of swords on that karmic energy, And so, yeah, man, that karmic energy right now, we need to not get ahead of ourselves over here, because that karmic energy with that 9 of swords, they're paying attention now, but they're paying attention now in a way that they haven't been really paying attention in the past. And that is from a place that is actually insecure, And so it's like the things that the karmic energies are seeing being done by the chosen ones are bringing awareness to them why they are so weak, And that's making them feel even insecure, because they're over here with this King of Cups energy saying, will you feel sorry for me? I mean, they're not even saying like, I'm sorry. They're like, oh, I fucked up. But do you feel sorry for me? Like, that makes me feel bad. I made you feel bad. That makes me feel bad. They want you to see that them feeling bad kind of takes precedence over the fact that they made you feel bad in the first place, kind of, And that's what karmic energies work, and that's what's been happening out here, And so they are not gonna apologize to you. That's what's being very clear. Like, we have to move forward now as the chosen ones and accept this as a learning experience here with these 10 swords right there. We gotta know, well, we removed them and we've mended ourselves, but we've learned now how to properly move, And so that's what we're representing right now most clearly in the light of the sun, is that we now have that strength, we have that power, we have that control, and we have that humility, and we have the scars to prove it. And so we're definitely worth being followed. And so we've taken the hard approach, the hard path, and we've persevered against all odds. And so now God Most High sees us for our true value, And they're going to put us up in the pedestal, up in that light, to where the whole world's still going to be like, who's this fucking bum, right? But God's going to be like, hey, this fucking bum is the next King David. Because that's how they all treated King David, That's how they all treated Joseph. They Joseph's brothers sold his ass into slavery and shit, Because he had the fucking coat of many colors, and his dad loved him for his goodness, And that's how they all right now. They're like fucking Joseph's brothers. They're like King David's brothers. They're all like, they showed all the other brothers, and the other brothers were fucking good enough for the ones that were looking for God's chosen one. And they said, well, don't you got one more boy? And they're like, oh yeah, David, he's out in the field with the sheep, Like, they told him to go hide, basically, right? And God says, nah, that's the motherfucker I'm looking for. God says, nah, man, that's the motherfucker I'm looking for. Believe it or not, that's the motherfucker I'm looking for, And that's what God said. We're going to put them in the light right now. They're going to be the king. Because that Saul wasn't doing a good job, God said, we're going to take that shepherd right now. We're going to put them in the light, and they're going to be king. That's wish fulfillment. Good work, chosen ones. That's what this read tells me. With this balsam right here coming out with the karmic energy at this 9 of cups, and then God says, feel me. God's got them up at night right now, really seeing the world change around them. And the way that the world is changing around them, the only way that they can survive in that world is that they kind of got to accept the reasons why they have to receive their own apologies from themselves. Nobody's going to forgive them because their behaviors have been atrocious. And nobody's going to forgive them. And it's going to come into the light why they don't deserve to be forgiven. And so if this individual right here is going to survive into the next phase of their transits, right? And so now they're going to be on a low. If they're going to make it through that without unaliving themselves or like experiencing some kind of self-harm or some kind of crazy shit because they're having a hard time accepting the things that they've done. The only person that can heal those wounds right now for these karmic individuals are the karmic individuals themselves. And that might take a lot of sleepless nights, and then we know they're not going to be sleeping during the day because our light's shining so fucking brightly. You can't sleep with that shining brightly around you, No fucking way. And now, chosen one, you have peace in your heart. You fucking made it, dude. You got peace in your heart. You have love coming in. You have, you've resurrected. So it's like, you're fucking all the way good, man. Guys, we're good. We can stop worrying. We can stop. We can forgive, and that's a big powerful thing, that's been something hard for us to get to that place, and like good work, we've done it together, man. I love y'all. And so that's our message for today. Get those last little bits of wire, everything together. I'm gonna start making some videos out here at the fence, and that's gonna be fun with David. He's gonna be here tomorrow, and so I'm gonna go round it up. I got a little bit more barbed wire I got round up, and another stretch of woven wire, but I think I have everything I need. God manifested everything we need out here, and I haven't bought one single part. I'm gonna have to go back down and buy some staples, some fence staples, and I'm gonna have to buy maybe some insulators or whatever, and then wire clips for the fence post, T-post clips, for my wire. But that ain't nothing. I can probably get all that together for less than $50, And I thought this thing was gonna cost me like $1,500, And so, but I said my prayers, I could never make it work with the $1,500. I mean, that would have been really difficult right now because coin's slow out here. But that's not what we're working for out here. We're working for God, And God's blessed us hugely, and that's gonna be seen here as I continue to build this thing that we're building here, And so we have more strength in numbers. And we're going to get those numbers. We're gaining those numbers. We just got to keep doing the work, And so whatever it is that you're building, and so in the light of God, and for this whole world to have a safe place to go so they can mend themselves with these karmic energies, you're going to see it start to move forward. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. You're going to see it move forward, and it's going to come forward to you now. It's not something that you have to chase with this Two of Wands in the reverse, It's going to come forward to you, but you're not going to have to make it come forward to you. It's not according to your plans. It's according to the plans of God. And so you have true love coming in. You have true love coming in. God's taught you how to love yourself now. And so you're amazing. Thank you. Thank you, child of God. Thank you very much. If you resonate with this reading here, if you resonate at all with any of the things that I say, please put it in the comments, drop in the comments, or if you want to talk about what it is that you're building that you've been trying to get off the ground, or whatever that's been suffering attacks, or whatever you want to vocalize your experience, and we can try to get some more positivity and some more positive comments going in your direction energetically. That's going to help what you're building grow and prosper, So that's how we do this thing around here. That's how we be abundant together. And so, please like, comment, and subscribe, share, And let's get this message out there, because if we all are agreeing with, and if we're all feeling benefit from the energetic input here, so it's like if we could all feel each other energetically, that's how we grow, and that's the sunflowers tracking the sun together, and that's what we need to do. And so thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your experience with the whole world in the space that you're in right now, where you're sharing that and you're making change. You really are. And you got a lot coming in for you for doing that, a lot. And you're going to teach the world a whole new understanding of what abundance is and what wealth is, and what it is to be powerful. And so fucking good work, man. Love you guys. We're taking that beast down. It's bleeding out right now. It don't like it, but it's kind of funny because I do. So peace out, y'all. Love you.